Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's Friday 12th of June and we're on our way home. Hooray! It's been a exciting week this week. We've of course had the WWDC on Monday the 8th, Apple's developer conference, and we'll get to learn about all their exciting new goodies. As far as software goes, no hardware unfortunately this time, although I think there's enough hardware about at the moment anyway without them adding to the collection. But yes, all the new software for OS X, iOS, and even the Apple Watch OS now that they've got the Apple Watch out. So yes, watch that. Well, I've watched most of it and I haven't quite got through all of it yet because it went on for 2 hours, which I think was about the longest conference they've ever done for WWDC. But what did we get? We got some good stuff. OS X 10.11, which is now going to be codenamed El Capitan, just for Apple Watch there. So yes, 10.11 El Capitan, which basically a lot of the enhancements we're going to see or rather not see are going to be based on optimizing the OS for the computers it's running on. That's of course really good news for people with existing Macs that OS supports, because you'll likely get a speed bump out of your old machine. You might find it runs cooler, and generally it's just going to be a better experience. So that on the whole is really good. Also we got a few new features for actually sort of doing things with, and that is sticky accelerator. So new features, we've got the sort of the click to Windows that Windows itself has. They've kind of nicked that idea that you can forget what they call it now, but where you take your windows and you lock them into position. So if you've got 2 different windows for different applications you're working on and you want them side by side on the screen, you can now sort of drag them across and it'll lock to one side and one will lock to the other, and give you that sort of full screen lock window quickly and simply. So that's pretty handy. I've never used the facility in Windows when it was available, so I'll probably not use it again, but it's nice to see it there anyway. And it's accessible, I think, holding command. I was playing it with the other night. Holding command on the full screen button lets you then move it across to the side and it makes it sort of pop up and fill the screen. And also the is it control center? I can't remember what it is now. That little bit you can go into and manage all your desktop windows, that's been enhanced to allow you to easily drag sort of different screens across, double them up on the screens as well. So that looks pretty handy. Again, it's not something I'd use a great deal. Also, we've got new features in Mail. That I can see a benefit on, although generally if Mail just worked better on a whole, everyone would be happier. But yeah, a few new features. The new Compose feature seems to be best. If you're composing an email, you can then sort of drop it down the bottom of the screen and still have it there available to get at quickly and easily. And also you can have tabs on Compose, so you can be composing multiple ones in the same section and tab them. That looks quite handy. And then also we got an enhancement for the Notes app, which probably mileage varies for people. I use it quite a lot, Notes, because it's a good way I find of sharing just different text between iOS and Mac OS X. So they've updated the Notes app and really enabled it to have rich text and also images, and part of that is also you're going to start getting things like you can drag web links across, and it'll give like a short run-up of what was on the web page or whatever else, and you can click back out of it somewhere else. So it's a good way of sharing web page information, but also you can manage image and all sorts of things within Notes itself. So it seems like quite a good enhancement. So I already used it quite a lot, so I think it'll just make it that little bit more useful for me, but I'm sure other people fare well with it. So really that seems to be about the top and bottom of it. I've got the 1011 beta running on MacBook Air, and yeah, I mean, it seems a lot of it just seems to be the same as it was before. Like I say, there's those few enhancements perhaps get a chance to have a play around with. Other than that, it just seems to work the same, really. So I don't know, you're not going to see a huge amount of difference, I don't think, unless, because you notice the supposed speed boosts from the optimization they've done. And moving on from that, we have, of course, iOS 9, and they've really, I think, pushed the boat out with the iOS 9. They've added some great new little features, some stuff that maybe should have been in earlier than this, but they've only just got around to doing it, such as the power saving facility. When you're running low on battery, it'll basically shut down quite a large amount of the processes and just keep the essential stuff going, get rid of all the stuff not needed. That looks quite good, and it does seem to be quite a few other really handy bits and pieces they've put in. I've not actually gone whole hog and installed the iOS 9 beta yet. Just it's been a busy week, to be honest, and I didn't have time to do it. Also, kind of wanted to wait and see how people were getting on with it, because as betas go, the last sort of the 8.3 and we're now on 8.4 betas have been pretty stable from set-off, but you never really know. And certainly the first beta, you know, it's only supposed to be for a development testing platform, not a day-to-day use. So I wanted to see how people were getting on with it, because I didn't really want to install it and then oh, someone's been pulled. Oh, yeah, so I didn't want to install it and then find out that you know, it was going to really mess up my, as it is working perfectly well, iPhone. So, and I have noticed a few people mentioning battery problems with the first beta, lots of battery drain, problems with text and text editing, that sort of thing, and keyboards sort of messing up. So I think I'll be waiting out until beta 1 or beta 2, whatever it is, the next one, the next beta, rather than rushing in, because I'm not too desperate. I've got everything working nicely now, so I don't want to rock the boat just yet. And I don't think there's anything that I'm that excited for on iOS 9 that would make me want to dive in either. So yeah, that all looks good. And then obviously the Apple Watch has got its own Watch OS, and they've announced an update to that already, or improvements, although I think it was expected, because they launched it without native apps on the watch, and that does cause a bit of a slowdown, because obviously the apps, as it were, are running out off the phone, and when you launch them on the watch, it's going to pull all that data over Bluetooth that it's doing, and that's obviously what takes a bit of time. So you're going to get more native apps, some new watch face additions. So there's still sort of restricting, well, say restricting, it's Apple only watch faces. They're going to open it up a little bit because they're going to allow that some of the like little information boxes you can have on the face, that's called the information face. I don't know what it's called actually, but it might be called that, who knows. They're going to give you some bits and pieces of information on there from third-party apps. So at the moment you've got only Apple's choices, but you'll get these extra ones. So that'll open it up a little tiny bit. I mean, not a great deal, to be honest. I can kind of understand why they're really restricted on the watch faces though, because obviously the battery itself is a bit of a jiggle for them to keep enough battery life that it lasts a day and there's not problems. And I suppose if they start willy-nilly letting people run watch faces that all, well, it's effectively running all the time, isn't it? If something goes wrong with the code, so you end up with a really badly coded face, it could just munch up all the processor power and drain the battery pretty much within a few hours, which wouldn't be a great user experience. So I can kind of see this theory of Apple, they're going to restrict faces and just do their own ones. It's kind of annoying, but I can also see there's a good reason for that. They've got some new faces with some, you can have like your photos, your own personal photos as the background on the watch face, and they've also got these time-lapse ones which look quite funky, where it sort of displays a time-lapse piece, so they're looking quite good as well. So the watch OS looks quite good. We got Apple Pay launched in July for the UK finally. A lot of people will be grateful of that. I'm not actually entirely sure it's going to make a huge amount of difference to me anyway, because I'm not that often out spending money, and a lot of the times where I do go, I don't think it'll be supported by Apple Pay anyway, so you know, it'll be handy for those odd occasions, but I don't see it being something I'm going to use massively anyway. But it'll be fun to try out and see how it goes on. Then we had this all new newsreader app thing, which I'm not really sure about that at all. It just looks like a way of sort of subscribing to different news sites and magazine sites and things and reading that. But I wasn't overly infused by it anyway. Much as the audience of WWDC, who didn't really put up much of a peep at all during the whole thing, and that therefore is exactly how far I got in the conference before I fell asleep, because I started watching it late at night anyway. I didn't get to watch it live because of course 6 o'clock. I just about got home at that time, and then I was seeing kids need playing with and foods need cooking and stuff, so there was no time to be watching it. So I think it was Wednesday night I ended up watching it at the end, but I started late and then I dozed off after. I think that news app sent me over the edge. I just went to sleep. So I don't know what happened at the end of it. I'll try and catch up on that eventually. But on the whole, all good stuff really from Apple. Looking forward to this new iOS 9, all these new features in that. I will be giving it a try once I think I know the betas are stable, so I'm just going to hang on for that. and see what happens. So I hope everyone else has had a good week, and also you have a good weekend. I'm gonna go in and have a bit of a rest now. It's been a long day, long week. So have a good weekend, and I'll catch you next week.